rest of us.
Yeah, you don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
so wise rule that people got angry about. It's like I'm reading through. I'm like I can see the author, this same author 12 years ago releasing this exact same story. And the only
I
difference
don't
is
care if I'm
I've
not using a
improved it.
recommended browser Twitch. Fuck off and die.
Why is Twitch judging you for your browser?
I don't know. What I don't get is my browser uses Chromium. So it's like, you have to use Google Chrome. It's like, bitch, I am using Google Chrome. I'm just not using Google Chrome.
I'm using the browser you want me to, but it has less tracking, and that's where the problem comes in.
Exactly, yeah. Literally. My browser has less tracking in it, and so they're not allowing me to log in. I don't fucking care. There we go. Fucking
Do you
retardation.
truly not care?
Oh no, I care enough to go pipe bomb their fucking house.
Now, I don't know why
Max!
I said Max.
Wow! Just immediately jump to Max is gonna go commit some fucking bombing.
No, it was
Okay.
probably going to be, my brain probably wanted to say, Max, we need to rein him in, while the other part of my brain was like, now Sneaky, that's not mature.
I'm sitting here innocently having milk and cookies.
Yeah,
Muted, so you
Max, while
don't
you're
hear the
sitting
chewing
here
sound.
innocently having milk and cookies, we should be trying to stop Sneaky from committing crimes.
That sounds like a you problem. I'm on my cookie break.
Oof.
What kind of cookies?
The kind that don't get shared. Now be quiet.
Chocolate chip.
Shut down.
Damn. Right then. Be like that.
But listen, when I get cookies that are made by Max, those cookies are just tasty enough that I ain't sharing.
I wasn't asking for you to share.
Oh, Max!
Feel like that they were.
So I just looked at the meme you sent me. That is literally what I wanted to do in a D&D campaign. And Faceless got caught up in making us collect the parts for it for so long that our campaign ended before we even built the fucking thing.
Yeah, but I think the implication is supposed to be this is what they're fighting now.
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but that's what my point is I wanted us to just start the campaign with us having small mechs fighting small mechs, and then just working our way up to bigger and bigger mechs.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'd like to run a Mechton campaign again, which is literally just...
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sneaky,
It's...
there's an entire campaign for that.
there's an entire
book for that.
system. There's also... it was such a good system that they added advanced rules called Mechton Zeta in honor of Gundam Zeta.
Yeah, well, no. So here's what happens. So the guys who made Shadowrun really liked Gundam, and so they basically made a Gundam game with the Shadowrun rule set. Like I think it was the second or third edition of Shadowrun. So like there are some problems in that, like dexterity is still the end all be all for shooting, but that's beside the point. Then the guy who made Gundam found out about this and loved the rule set so much, he was like, hey, I want to make a supplement, and we're going to call it Zeta, after my new show, Gundam Zeta.
I still haven't found confirmation of this, but I hope with every fiber of my being it's true.
That's what
It's
I've been
not-
told,
it's-
and I'll be honest, I don't care if it's not true at this point.
Yeah.
More
Anyway.
fun.
And the system is made well enough. Like Gundam may have been one of the original inspirations, but it's like, do you love 70s and 80s anime? Because this is the perfect setup for you.
Yeah, I would say that's the other
There's
thing. The
an
benefit of it
enti-
being
there's an
made.
like 30% of the rulebook I think is dedicated to explaining the systems for the robots, as well as blueprints for making your own.
And not just that, but because it's still like Shadowrun, like, right, all the stuff all the stupid shit you can do in Shadowrun is still there. Obviously not like the bio modification and stuff, but like,
No, that's
oh,
there.
do you
That's in the
want to
advanced
run a
rule set.
stealth heist mission for your mech game? You can do that because it's built into the rules.
A stealth mission.
Yeah, and the advanced rule set
No,
was
like
even
where they're like out of the mechs, Sneaky.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All
Yeah,
right.
and the advanced supplement was also like, by the way, we really liked how we built the mech system. So here's additional rules so you can make literal like Tengen Toppager and login size stuff
Excellent.
if you want to go that extra.
So
It's incredibly dumb.
So this is actually a great segue. So speaking of incredibly extra and probably unnecessary things, let's get on to Juicio's and Tojo's fanfiction story here.
Oh
Damn,
no.
bro.
We're so happy to be here. Thank you for having us.
Why you gotta do me dirty like that, bro? Damn, alright,
So does anyone actually have a link to this fucking story? Because like it's been a while.
I was hoping you did, Sneaky. You never actually dropped the link because
I can
we
dro-
were so
hold on, I can
done
drop
with
it.
fanfiction by the end of that night.
You know what? That's a fair point, and yeah, that is my bad. Sign will unfortunately not be joining us, as he does in fact have a grandmother currently in the hospital, so it is what it is.
We hope we hope she gets better, and we hope that everything's okay.
Yes, flame above the falling leaves. Yes. That.
I want to punch you just on general principles of your title. Like my first thought on this title is, damn, pretentious prick, and then I'm leaving.
And then I'm leaving.
I just like that this title is like peak mid 2000s Naruto OVA or side story.
It really is. It really is.
Bro, I took a look at all the early Naruto episode names. I was like, damn, let me do something like that.
So I do want to, before we get started on you guys, I just want to
Shout out to our sponsors.
Squarespace.
So, yeah, let's do a shout out to our sponsor today, Skillshare, and Landdeed.
The skill that we're sharing is how not to be a garbage writer, courtesy of these two.
Mm.
I thought you were gonna say potatoes because potatoes just resubscribed again.
Did he really? No. Oh wow, yes he did. Thank you, potatoes.
Oh my god, potatoes.
I appreciate your patronage. Literally. No. I was making a joke about how all of our sponsors are the scams.
Oh wait, Sneaky, does this mean we get to run like a CS:GO betting site and trick children into gambling on loot boxes and not disclose it publicly?
Yeah. We're also opening up a separate streaming service called Punch. It's gonna have gambling and porn on it.
Sounds like my kind of place.
Well, no. See, what it is that you give us $20 and then we let you spin a loot box to see what kind of porn you get.
Yeah, even
Base.
better, once you finish watching the porn, you're randomly awarded an item from a random game.
Damn, guys, I got water sports.
No, well, you see, the item will in some way relate to what you just watched.
Scat.
Yeah.
So, you gotta really hope it wasn't a shower one.
Indeed. Anyway,
Oh, it's like what do you call it?
Why are they afraid
Birdie
of
Bots
showers?
every flavor beans, but it's just all the bad ones.
No. We're definitely gonna have class, high quality stuff pulled right from the excellent performers at OnlyFans.
In fact, everything will be custom made by someone on Fiverr for $5.
Just one man making all the porn. Just working 18 hours a day.
Yes.
No.
He will die happy.
It will start with Fiverr, and then we'll open up one of those streaming site factories in China.
Oh, of course, yes.
Babe, it's 6 a.m. Time for your dick flattening.
Oh my god. Well, now that we know what he's into, we can move on.
It's 7 p.m. It's time for the foot weirdos to wake up.
Everyone's resident dipshit is back and in action again. So, to anyone not remembering what happened last time on Sneaky Devil taunts someone into doing something stupid, We had this lovely individual here who decided he was going to write a Fate DxD story crossover. And then he was going to put it in only the DxD section. And when I mentioned that he should put it in the Fate DxD section, he decided to try and explain what a fanfiction is to me, and said that because anything can happen in a fanfiction, he doesn't need to follow the site's directions on how to organize your story postings. So then I made fun of him, and then he tried to clap back at me by saying crossovers don't exist. And then he finished off his comment with a don't answer me because I won't read it and you are wrong. So of course I answered him. Obviously.
And he responded.
Of course. The X-over sections are a thing. You're wasting your time here. I'm having a blast. You are correct. I shouldn't bother replying to you, as I'm sure as an individual of such caliber as yourself will drop this story within the next week as you inevitably write yourself into the idiot hole. So his clapback is, aha, I got you. I've been retarded this whole time. I'm not sure how that's a gotcha, but that's what he wrote.
Are you serious?
I'm paraphrasing, but yes.
I see.
He literally says, finally, I got you interesting information here. I never claimed to be smart.
I love how he was saying
Got
how he
ya.
doesn't know there's a crossover section, and I'm literally looking at the section where it's like, it literally says story type, regular crossover.
Yeah, I know.
Well,
Like,
what
bruh.
Sneaky's leaving out is the dude specifically said there's only a section for doing 2 stories at a time, because not many people actually know about the X-overs
Oh,
section.
that section.
So
Oh.
Sneaky's making this guy out slightly dumber than he actually is, but only slightly.
His story's still fucking retarded, and his capabilities of writing are still fucking retarded, so.
I'm pretty sure I zoned out during that story too. So
Oh, his story was literally just a block of wall of text. It was terrible. I will continue this story for a very long time, as I will follow through with what I said by doing the high school DxD massive crossover. Because I will include every favorite story of mine in it.
I see.
It should be noted Sneaky is skipping over the part where he does say, "You're right, I'm wrong. I'll try to move it to that section, but I just don't know how yet." Which, by the way, you don't move those between sections. You delete them and repost them.
Yeah, I know.
So what few numbers he had are...
Well, I mean, we can just go back to him. We can bring up his story here. 4 favorites. Yeah.
Probably not that big of a loss. Oh, actually, he did. Actually, he did properly post it as in the XO section.
I like the guest reviewer. Fact number 1, you're retarded. So the 2 reviews he has are, you're retarded, put it in the right section.
Man.
Whoa.
Man, sometimes guest reviewers are not the heroes we deserve, but the heroes we need.
Indeed. Anyway, on to the mighty Morgoths, the flame above the falling leaves.
Yeah. Although I will say we should give the author some credit. He still has not blocked you, and he did admit
Shockingly,
that he was
yes.
wrong, but he did it so fucking pretentiously. He still comes across as really pretentious in his writing.
Oh, it's great, yeah, because it's even better because he starts off with the gotcha of, aha, I never claimed to be smart. It's like, oh, all right. I was actually retarded the whole time! Haha, joke's on you! Okay. Alright, buddy, you have fun with that, I guess. So I will say, just as an immediate improvement off the bat, you two, I appreciate that you're finally actually just writing a Naruto story instead of trying to write this massive, sprawling AU universe of Naruto where you've jammed another entire media into it.
Oh, we're still doing that, man. What are you talking about?
No,
Wait,
hold on,
hang
hold on.
on. What
We're not doing that. We're not. It's a big AU, but we're not jamming like a bunch of other shit in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair.
Yeah,
I was about to
that's what I'm
say,
saying.
I was like, ooh, fight, 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 fight.
Yeah. So,
It's big AU.
I'm sorry, just a quick aside. They're known for this.
oh yeah, remember the
Big
last two
big
stories?
No, which ones?
No,
The
just one.
Naruto and the Shadows Die Twice and Naruto and the Ruby story?
I don't.
That's
We
not.
didn't go-
I don't
we
know
didn't
what
go
you're
over-
talking about.
No, I know what he's talking about. We never went over the Ruby one. We did go over the Ruby
No,
one. I
no,
don't
no.
really like
Well, no,
anymore.
I made fun of the Ruby one.
Oh, okay. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So they're known for making AUs that fall flat on their face.
Oh,
Thank you.
massive AUs, massive Fusion World
Thank
AUs that are just
Thank you, Max.
absolutely massively cringe and immediately died in the cradle of 2 chapters and 6 chapters.
Oh. Okay. That's.
Yeah. Now, admittedly, those 2 chapters ended up being 24,000 words each, but
Still died.
still died in the cradle.
They died because they got kind of bored of it.
Yeah, it's weird how that works.
I know.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's much like that one Worm story I tried writing, and then I immediately stopped writing because I realized I would have to write a Worm story. And I was like, oh. I don't
Well,
want to
and
do
then
that.
don't forget there was a
Which
time
Worm
we wanted to
story?
write a Worm story, but that
like
would have
3 or
required
4.
the weird foursome power thing, which was just. Ugh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The murder, fuck, kill power set, yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. So, anyway. Summary. We got the fallen leaves tell a story. The Will of Fire asks of loyalty between comrades. So too does it demand sacrifice to keep its flames alive. It continues to smolder at the heart of Konoha. It continues to smolder at the heart of Konoha, grows ever
shit.
stronger with each passing day.
Okay.
Interesting. Fueled by its human kindling. Soon enough, it will threaten the world with its conflagration. Okay. I'm of a mixed... We're going to ignore the just minor seizure you had when writing that sentence. We're gonna skip over that. Because I assume you didn't intend to write it that way.
No.
Being merciful, that's not a good
Yeah,
start.
summary is something we basically ignored up until the end, and then we're like, oh fuck,
Did it
what
at
do
the
we do with
last
this?
moment.
Yeah, it was literally like,
You know,
okay, just write something up real quick because we did not have anything, and we wanted to get this chapter out.
Oh,
so
don't
badly.
worry about it. Max came to me for his crossover with Atin, well, his collab with Atin, and he was like, "Sneaky, I need a summary," and so I sent him a summary, and it was like 4 years later that someone finally noticed that the summary had a misspelling in it.
yeah,
But at that point, we were like, nah, fuck it, leave it.
leave it. Who cares?
You already attracted the
Someday.
weird crowd with the torture porn
Someday.
people.
Yeah, we did. I still like that story. It was stupid.
I guess I
but-
still like the story. I just don't like that Ruby ruined any chance of me going back to it at this
Yeah.
point.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, there's no Ice Queendom, or that studio at least, continuously outputting more Ruby content to re-inspire us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So the issue I do have with this summary right here is you had the word smolder, which is brings to mind imagery of a dying flame.
I'll be
I
honest.
was just
it sounded
smoldering
like
at the camera.
I'll be honest, it sounded like the start of a bad Dark Souls clone.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does now. It's like the Dark Souls of Naruto. I'm sorry, I had to make the joke.
You shut your fucking mouth.
Get out.
But what I'm trying to say here is that you start with smoldering in the middle of the sentence, while saying that earlier on sacrifices keep it alive, and then you come up with and it's fueled by human kindling, which
yeah, I'm gonna be honest, that did not come to my mind while I wrote this. Maybe it was subconsciously a thought. I don't know.
Maybe. What I'm saying though is the order of events is kind of weird with the options you choose. Because you end off the summary with conflagration, which is a outstandingly large fire.
What do you think would be a better verbiage to use then instead of smolder?
Blazing.
Hey yo, I'm blazing this shit. This leaf.
And they don't call it the Will of Fire for nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
You think Kirsten's just smoking tobacco in that pipe?
Konoha's lit.
Bruh.
It's fire, yo.
Fuck off. I'm too old to be saying that. You're definitely too old to be saying that.
I mean, if you wanted to go in order of events of starting the summary by referencing to it as a smolder, at the middle of the summary referencing it to as it's growing, and the end of the summary as a reference to it overtaking everything, that's certainly a way you can go if that's what the pacing of the story is going to be like, where at first, they're licking wounds, by the middle, they're, fortifying narratively fortifying the concept of the story, and by the end it's this giant action-packed kind of thing to finish off the story. If that's the pacing you're going to go, then that's how I would suggest you would restructure the summary.
Okay.
Or you could just change smolder to like blazing or something. It really is. It's up to you. I don't know what you're going to write.
No, I appreciate it. I didn't actually think about that, but that makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So I'm not going to read all 9,000 words out loud because we're going to be here till like fucking 9 p.m. if I do.
Aren't you guys usually here till 9 p.m.?
Yeah, but we read like other stories, or I make fun of them a lot.
We don't.
Hey, fuck you.
No, you get through the first fic, maybe. Depends on how good it is and how much it keeps your interest. And then you tangent off into like a schizophrenic mess where you jerk each other off and laugh.
Yes, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're reading
My
this.
experience.
Dusk crept over Konoha as the sun began to set and the pale moon rose to take its place. The glint of the twilight sky reflected off of the ceramic roof tiles. Those are some shiny fucking roof tiles.
Right.
And the descendant sun emblazoning on the faces of past Hokages. There, in the waning hours of the evening, an older gentleman impatiently walked through the paved streets of the village, a manila folder of documents kept in place between his armpit. Between his armpit.
I feel like just saying held under his arm or whatever would have sounded better.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to say you're incorrect, but it does just sound a little weird.
Kind of clunky.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Only occasionally stopping to look at the pocket watch for the time. As he drew closer and closer to his destination, the ground became more uneven as the paved cement was slowly replaced by untouched dirt roads. When he turned the corner and moved onto a new block, he instinctively made his way to a pair of large oak doors that held firm in the middle of a stone wall. Again, I'm not disgracing your imagery here. but how, because this is all one sentence, it sounds like he's walking down a road, he gets to a junction, makes a right turn or a left turn, and then it's just in front of a door all of a sudden.
How do you think I extend that out then?
Probably
'Cause,
separate
obviously
it. Separate it into 2 sentences.
Okay.
Finish out the turn onto a new block, making his way down the road, period. He instinctively made his way to the door, like, just finish out that earlier sentence of having him still continuing down the new road, and then having him arrive at the door.
I think it might have helped that maybe something along the lines of like a building ahead or something, because it's just door and a stone wall. No
I mean,
indication.
it might just be a stone wall. It might be that, like, he turned
True.
down went down this little tiny ass dirt road in the back corners of Konoha, and there's just a stone wall there, and he walked to it. I mean, it doesn't
True.
have to be a building. It's just, I don't know. Instinctively also throws me a bit, mostly because instinctively you would use. I personally feel like you would use it in scenarios where to me it brings to mind the descriptor of you like walking down a darkly lit, packed city street, there's trash on the floor, and the way into wherever you're trying to go isn't obvious at first, but because you're just so used to it, it's just instinctive. You do the weird thing. You climb the fire escape by 3 half steps and push in a window or some shit to get into the building. Like, that's what it brings to mind when you use he instinctively made his way in, because it makes it sound more like it's not an obvious route to take. Because if it's as I said earlier to Aura, if it's just, he's in some corner of Konoha and he turns down this dirt road, it's no one's there ever, it's basically an abandoned zone, and there's just a stone wall with a door on it, and that's it. Well, you're not really instinctively making your way there then. It's kind of the only thing you can make your way to. If it was
habitually make more sense then?
Habitual?
Habitually?
Yeah, I would say that, yeah. Like, again, this is not a scenario of me saying you're wrong. It's a scenario of me saying it just feels weird, because you are definitely going heavily on the imagery, which I don't mind, because you're definitely painting a good picture here. It's just some of your words are clashing with the imagery you're trying to paint, in my mind.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Okay.
2 men stood quietly in front of the gate as the cloth above them, marked with the Saratobi clan crest, fluttered gently with the brisk October winds. Yeah, okay, so this is a very obvious location. Upon seeing the old man's approach, the younger of the 2 guardsmen wordlessly entered the clan compound, and a faint chatter could be heard beyond the wooden gates. Impatiently, the old man rhythmically tapped his foot and stared blankly at his hands, as his hands on his pocket watch seemed to ever slowly lurch forward to the next minute. After some minutes of waiting, the young guardsman re-emerged from the gates with another old man in tow. Similarly, he held his own folder of documents. I apologize for the delay, Donzo. I would hope so, Hiruzen. Donzo crossed his arms as he replied. You know how long I've been waiting for you out here? Hiruzen shrugged. A few minutes? Mockingly, he waving his hands around, he retorted. Oh, a few minutes, he says. Back in my day, a few minutes. Hiruzen held up his hand, his face also warped a half-irritated, half-amused scowl. First off, don't pull back in my day shit on me. It was our day, not your day. I was there too, damn it. Second, I don't know if you remember this, but I'm retired. If I want to stay in bed a few extra hours in the morning, or spend my entire evening smoking in my yard, then I'll do as I damn well please. You use the semicolon in dialogue. And I'm of mixed opinion about it.
Does it work?
Yes. I have always been a big proponent of anti-semicolon. Not many people speak with semicolons when they do. Semicolon occupies a very weird position of not a stop, not quite a pause, because that's what periods and commas are. So, and pretty much everything else, if you're doing an abrupt change in what you're saying, like, someone asks you a question, you say no, wait, no, never mind, that could be done with a hyphen. If you're taking long delays in between saying some words, that can be done with an ellipses. Semicolon has that weird position of not quite being able to do what any of the other narrative punctuation already do. There's also the slight unfortunate side effect of, because it's not used that often, people aren't really sure what to do with it, and so they usually just default to it being a comma in their mind when they're reading.
Do you think I used it right here?
I mean, you used it technically correct.
Do you think an M dash would have worked better then?
Maybe. Like I said, it really depends on how it works in your mind, to how you want the character to place emphasis on certain words, or how you may want to give them a, I don't want to talk about this subject, so I'm going to abruptly change it, I'm not going to prescribe how your dialogue should be structured, because I don't know the other 4 pages that go into why Hiruzen is talking this way to Danzo at this point,
Right.
Danzo clicked his tongue against the back of his teeth. You were late because you were smoking, weren't you? Hiruzen groaned exasperatedly. Also not a huge fan of adverbs, especially the really extremely long ones, but it is what it is. You'd still, again, a lot of your stuff is technically correct, but it's not stuff that I would ever recommend people do. But I'm not a published author, so take it with your salt. Biwako says I should stop because it's bad for my health, but damn it, woman, do you know how rare this tobacco is? It's premium quality black leaf from the Fire Daimyo's private collection. And since she's out of the house, I thought to myself, why shouldn't I treat myself a little bit? Danzo hummed an indifferent acknowledgement to his friend. Your tobacco... that would be a period, not a comma. Your tobacco addiction is rather fascinating, but you also forget the part where that was my problem. Now let's go. Best not to keep the Hokage waiting. I will give you the same advice that I gave Max way back in the day. You put up a lot of dialogue. And these are... You're putting up a lot of dialogue with a lot of emotional emphasis. And you're relying on adverbs to tell the audience what they're supposed to think, instead of showing the audience what the characters think. Instead of Hiruzen, slouching or groaning, tilting his head back, scratching his head, doing animation, he's just exasperated. Imagine what that is, please, audience. I can't describe it to you. Donzo, for all that he's impatient, is extremely wordy. He's not breaking up what he's saying with looking at his timepiece anymore now that he's talking to Hiruzen. It's very early 2000s NPC. They just stand there talking to you, they say their whole dialogue line, and then they go, "Ugh!" And then they say more dialogue lines, and then they smile at you. Because back in the day they couldn't animate the face properly, so they just had to make them do the animations after they finished talking.
Yeah, like in Oblivion. Yeah, we talked about.
Effectively.
Okay.
So, it's the same, like I said, it's the same advice I gave Max back in the day. Just break up the dialogue. If you're doing a whole paragraph of dialogue, put more into it. They groaned at this part. They took a pause here to check their watch. And you can, by doing that, you also get the ability to cut dialogue out if need be. Like, if you start off with Donzo looking at his watch, ignoring Hiruzen now, he's looking at his watch, puts it back and says, do you know how long I had to wait for you? And then he, cuts Hiruzen off again when Hiruzen starts going into some, soliloquy about why he was late. He says something brief like, we have to go to the Hokage now. Back in my day, the Hokages demanded respect, and then there's this Hiruzen now dragging his feet. He's overemphasizing. He's just, he's kind of basically pulling Donzo's chain. I don't know if that's what you're going for here, but it kind of felt like that to me.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're going for.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. Make Hiruzen more animated to Donzo's more abrupt hurry.
He's old. This is the thing we want to partially emphasize. I don't know.
Well, when I say animated,
Yeah.
and I don't mean he has to do fucking jumping jacks in the middle of his speaking.
Can he though?
I mean, if he wants.
If you want him to, yes. But why would you have him do that for this scene? Jokes aside.
He's just joking.
Yes, I know. For the record, Sneaky, I don't think you ever gave me that talk.
I mean,
that was something.
I basically did.
That's something I just picked up by writing with you.
Oh, fair enough.
You've always been decent about breaking actions into dialogue, and I just kind of picked that up because I had to deal with your shit for 6 hours a night.
Yes, you did. Let's see here.
To pipe in with Sneaky, this doesn't really feel like the Donzo and Hiruzen we know, and is this if Hiruzen's retired here?
Yeah.
Then this has to be when it's Minato as the Hokage, right?
You would think that.
Or, Orochimaru or someone else.
Either way, there's a fourth Hokage at this point.
Mhm.
Yes? Or
Yeah.
you completely restructured the past.
How many crimes would have been prevented with Orochimaru as the Hokage?
A lot.
What do you
honestly.
mean prevented?
We're not going
You mean
into
legally
that.
sanctioned?
Yeah. They're not
War crimes?
if
I don't know
they're
what you mean.
legalized. It's a war crime only if it's declared a crime.
Real talk. How would that have changed?
Crimes. This is government assistance.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
Look, we can at
This
least
is the
be
punishment for
certain.
tax evasion.
That's true. We can at least be certain
That's a
that
moral
Naruto
right.
would have been properly trained with Orochimaru as Hokage.
No, I don't think
Well,
so.
I feel like it's more like he would be more likely used as a weapon as he was, as Jinchuriki tended to.
Okay, but that would still involve training.
Oh no, I'm
listen,
agreeing with. I'm
Gaara
agreeing
was
no.
a weapon, but he was trained.
No,
Gaara was
because the key part here is you guys are forgetting is the whole thing of Minato only did what he did because he was the Hokage.
Can you elaborate on that?
If Minato was not the Hokage, he would have placed Kushina's life and his baby's life over the village.
Disagree.
No, literally his reasoning as to why Naruto should bear the burden is because he couldn't ask anyone else's child to do so if he didn't do it for his child first. Because he's the Hokage.
So he should do it to multiple children then, right?
Yes.
Nice.
We have to steal someone else's Jinchuriki so that my son can have a Jinchuriki friend.
Yeah,
point
honestly.
here
It's like
is
buying
that-
2 dogs so they could be friends with each other.
Well, also let's be real here. That night never would have happened if Minato wasn't the Hokage.
Yeah, that is also kind of
That's not entirely true. No.
Okay,
no.
wait. Hear me out. An alternate universe where, just like they said, they want to get Naruto a Jinchuriki friend, so they kidnap Gaara.
No.
That would be kinda
As I was
funny.
saying, no, because
It would be stupid.
another key part of why that night went the way it did was specifically because Minato wasn't there because he was doing Hokage things, wishing he was there with her.
I thought it happened because he got distracted by Obito,
Yeah.
who literally wait, actually, I'm trying to remember what the fuck was he doing? I thought he was with her.
No, he arrived to the scene with Biwako dead
Yeah.
and Kushina telling him that the guy took his baby.
Yeah. He was taking care of Hokage business. All this stuff went down, which is why that night likely wouldn't have happened because Minato. 100%
And you
would have
can
been
thank
suicide the entire
yeah.
time.
You can thank me knowing this information due to the amazing fucking storytelling that Ninja Storm did.
Who the fuck is
Ninja
that?
Storm is a far better game than what Naruto ended up serving.
Oh, the game.
It is so fucking good. It is no right being as good as it was.
Yeah.
Is it?
But back to my point, like
Yeah.
I can assume that this is Old Man Danzo and Old Man Hiruzen.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're
so
both. Well,
this is leading into Sneaky's thing here, like a great offset. What I got from the dialogue Sneaky was reading it is, oh, these guys are on ridiculously good terms. This must be like just after the war, before Hiruzen realized how much of a piece of shit Danzo was. But when Sneaky added those changes, like, okay, this sounds more like what I know of Danzo and Hiruzen, where Hiruzen's like, I don't like you, and I will go out of my way to piss you off. And Danzo's like, I don't have time for this. Get your ass moving.
Yeah.
So the original dialogue, they seem like old war buddies, which they aren't by this point in time. Sneaky's changes is more like what I expected the two characters as Kishimoto gave them to us. Which is why I was asking, is there some sort of like massive timeline change you made for them to still be buddy-buddy like this?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like plainly, there's been
Oh,
massive
is a
timeline
s-
changes.
It is a. Is it a spoiler for this chat? Did you guys
It
care?
doesn't
We
matter,
really
just,
don't
like,
give.
go.
No, we
yeah,
don't.
I was okay. I was
Yeah,
thinking about it. I was like,
spoilers.
wait, did they give a shit?
No, we don't.
I don't go reading fan fiction much anymore, man. Why am I
Yeah,
gonna
no,
care?
fair enough. I don't really either. I only recently came back because I started thinking of one. Root is basically like sanctioned here.
Because
it's like-
Orochimaru became Hokage.
Yeah, Orochimaru
Okay.
became the Hokage.
That,
But not just-
that
not
wouldn't
just-
really change here. If anything, Hiruzen would be even more pissed off about it.
A little bit.
Just because of his core personality. Like, nature versus nurture argument, there's a certain point where nurture kind of takes over, but at his core, Hiruzen is a specific kind of individual. As long as that second war went the way it did initially, he's still gonna be like, this is fucked up shit. We should not be doing this.
Yeah,
Why are we allowing this to go? In fact, if this is still a world where Hiruzen was the third Hokage, I am calling bullshit that he has not tried at least 4 separate assassination attempts on Orochimaru by this point if he decided to sanction Root again. Because he went out of his way to support Minato in dismantling it.
True.
He was already starting on it during his time as Hokage.
Yeah.
And it was only after Minato died that he was like, he sort of knew that Danzo was still doing root, but didn't want to look into it, because if he did look into it, that means he had to do something about it. And he still sort of needed Danzo's root agents because he just needed soldiers at this point.
The big change there being that we've changed who Hiruzen is as a person. Like,
Okay, so you've already committed a fanfiction sin. When
Yes.
you write a fanfiction story, you get to change one of three things: the setting, the characters, or the premise. Because if you change two of the three things, you start to lose the whole point of reading a Naruto story. For example, if you change all three of those things, you're not writing a Naruto story anymore. To give you an example, so I'm going to create three stories here, and you're going to tell me how interesting they sound in terms of you being a Naruto fan wanting to read a Naruto story. So the first story is about the story of Naruto from Sakura's perspective, and no, she's not going to be handed the idiot ball. How interesting is that on a scale of you being a Naruto fan wanting to read Naruto stuff?
Like a 3 or 4?
Out of 5? Thank you. No.
Well, out of 5? No, out of 10.
Out of 10. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
because that just sounds like a retelling of.
Yeah,
Right.
it just sounds like a,
Well,
a
yes,
slight.
it is a retelling, but the whole point of the retelling is how would this character have these thoughts in this moment, which also would be a good test of seeing how well an author has grasped a character.
Yeah. So basically, my point is in this story, there's no proposed overt changes to Sakura's character beyond just it's from her perspective now. We're going to get her thoughts on the events that happen, her understandings of everything, her motivations, and yes, her character will eventually change and deviate from canon because canon Sakura was handed the idiot ball quite successively, often. So yes, if you're going to write a just Sakura as she should have been before she got dumbed down so she could be made into side character B, you know, that is changing one of the three precepts, that's the word I'm looking for. One of the three precepts. We're changing the premise. We're changing the character in this story would be, it's your classic Naruto finds out he's got a bloodline. Naruto discovers a scroll. And Naruto does something XYZ. Orochimaru was elected. And that's it. It's Orochimaru's elected, and we're just going to pan out all of the characters and the events from here on out from that change. Again, that's changing one aspect of the story. That's changing the background down. What you did was you were like, all right, so all of the characters are going to be different, the setting's going to be different, and the premise is going to be different. Why would I, as a Naruto reader, who likes Naruto for its shonen, punchy, big flashy moves, ninja stuff, maybe I like certain characters in Naruto. Maybe I do like Orochimaru and I want to read that story. But why would I, as a Naruto, your general average Naruto reader, want to read a story where all of the characters are different, the setting is different, and it's being told from a different premise?
Now,
When it comes to writing, I think I don't write for people generally.
That's fair.
And
No,
what they're
that's
gonna
totally
like.
fair.
all right.
Yeah, like at the end of the day,
You're
I
honest.
realize the like issue that you're hitting at, but also I find this just way more interesting to play around with.
Oh
at the
no,
end of the day.
I certainly I'm not knocking you as a author. I'm knocking you as a fan fiction author.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Now,
okay, fair.
as a counterpoint to this, you can change all three of these things if you change the premise way the fuck before
Oh
the
yeah.
earliest
Oh
point in
yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So if your premise was Orochimaru had a coming to God moment as a child that didn't result in him going insane, you can change a whole ton of stuff.
Yeah.
Or even like
Well,
one of the missions in the war for
right.
Danzo and Hiruzen went wrong, and Hiruzen's like, I just killed like 3 kids.
Well,
Why don't I feel guilty about this?
it's more about the anchor point. So the anchor point in this story is we're opening up with, assumedly, normal Konoha doing normal Konoha things with a normal Konoha timeline and normal Konoha characters. That's because that's our anchor point. You've given us no indication that any of this has been different so far.
That's fair. I think that's a fair thing to like bring up as like us not giving people the I guess the
scoop
indication
We're looking for
that
a hook, basically.
yeah, well, the indication that this is a massively AU story.
Right.
And
there's no look up at the Hokage monument, as gay as it is, but like look up at the Hokage monument and there's like, you know, 3 or 4 faces that don't look right to the reader, sort of
right
thing.
Exactly. That's sort of my point. Is the reader's anchor point is nothing is different, and then you start having these characters that they should know start acting really weird around each other, and they're kind of just like, oh, why are they acting so weird around each other? And the drip feeding setup that you've done here so far works in fiction.
Oh.
But fanfiction has the problem of us having that inbuilt knowledge of what's going on in the story.
Yes, it's sort of like a Pizza Hut that's been turned into you know, not a Pizza Hut. Everyone looks at the building and goes, "That's a Pizza Hut," and then when they walk inside and they see it's like a massage parlor, they're like, "This isn't pizza. You lied to me." You know.
Yeah, Sneaky stays at the massage parlor for his surprise, but you know,
they promised me pizza in the end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sneaky's not walking away without that damn pizza.
Yeah.
Sneaky pays for a happy ending to come out with a pepperoni pizza.
Exactly. But you know, you see my point though is when it comes to writing a fan fiction, it's much like drawing fan art. You know, if you're gonna draw Samus. But actually she's a barista at Starbucks and her hair's brown and she's on Earth and she's 80 years old and she's hunched over with gray, you know, graying brown hair now. Would you expect people to be like, "Oh yes, I see where you're going with this art," or would they go, "Why did you draw Samus old as a barista on Earth?"
Yeah.
But if you just re-release that picture under, you know, original character, the old barista, people would probably look at that exact same fucking picture, see the title is original character, and go, "Oh wow, I really like how you captured the atmosphere of this." Completely different reaction because you're not, you know, pasting over it now. Oh, this is Samus, but she's old and a barista on Earth. You know, literally everything but Samus. So, like I said, I'm not knocking you as an author. I'm not knocking your writing. I'm just saying, if you want to do a fan fiction, it does have to be for the fans. It's a little bit different from just writing your own stories and being like, haha, you know, I just had this idea, I just wanted to write it out.
No, that's fair.
And you know, like my friend loves doing it.
With
Yeah.
with the audience and what they're expecting is something to consider.
Yeah, and especially if you're posting it publicly for everyone to read. You know, if you had a website, for example, and you were like posting a whole bunch of your stuff, it's a blog, it's where you post your little snippets of writing, and you're like, "Hey guys, so I was just thinking of like this, like, you know, fan fiction of like a Naruto. It's like this whole AU world. Why don't you take a look at my snippet?" Anyone that's on your website is there for you and your writing. They're not there for Naruto. They'll read it because you wrote it, but they're not going to read it because it's Naruto. You know, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
People on fanfiction.net are going to read a story because they're looking for a Naruto story, and this Naruto story looks cool. So they read it. And then they find out that it's not really a Naruto story. It's, you know, a heavy AU with all of the characters acting different, and it's actually not about Naruto at all. It's like, okay, well, that's... the writing's good, but I'm here for a Naruto story. Again, like I said, I'm not gonna read this whole thing. I'm just, you know, I just popped in to take a look at it. Again, your grammar, effectively a 99 out of 100.
Hey.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the occasional mess up here and there, there's really nothing for me to comment on. Yeah. Okay, you do immediately get into who the Hokage is, so you're not like holding that over the audience of like, who's the fourth Hokage? Who's the fourth Hokage?
No, and to
Yeah.
be fair, this is like very much in the style of Naruto fanfiction, having some sort of like meeting to decide the fate of what happens to Naruto, and then going into Naruto's life.
Also,
Yeah.
I did want to point this out, Sneaky, because I actually remembered this from the last story. I don't remember you reading the Ruby one, but when you read the last one, the Sekiro one, you gave me shit, and rightly so, for like doing the whole like Nine Tails attack, because like we all know what happens, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So when it starts, it just skips to it, and it gets to the point that actually matters, where things actually like diverge. So
Yeah.
I did want to like try to follow through what you mentioned on that.
And yes, you doing the... But it's like I said earlier, you learned the lesson, but unfortunately applied it to a new math problem. It's like I was saying earlier with Max, is that Minato and that whole situation surrounding him would be wildly different without author Fiat saying it happened the same. Solely from the fact that Minato's no longer the Hokage. He looks out for the village, of course, because he loves the village, but he's not looking out for the village over his own personal life of being by his wife's side as she's giving birth. He's not going to confront the enemy shinobi first because he's supposed to be the front line of defense as the Hokage. He would be defending his wife because he thinks she's about to get targeted. He wouldn't be sacrificing himself so he could seal it inside Naruto. He would be, you know, containing it long enough so he could do something else. Because he, as the Hokage, felt he had a different set of responsibilities that he did as Minato, Kushina's husband. And that's the sort of scenario where you don't really have to show the Kyuubi fight, because you can just be like, yeah, the Kyuubi fucking just fucks shit up. It is what it is. But if you're going to go with everything is the same, it's really hard to give you advice on this, because on one hand, if you're just going to use author Fiat of everything's the same, for some reason Minato just wholesale abandoned his family for no clear reason, just so he could go off and die so the story would stay the same, it just feels a little weird to me. I wouldn't say it expends suspension of disbelief, because it's something that someone actually has to think about before they realize that it breaks their suspension of disbelief. But skipping to two characters acting differently with a completely different Hokage and a totally AU timeline. I would say it would almost be better at that point to just skip right to the meeting. Because unless you're using the opening of Danzo and Hiruzen's walk through the village to subtly drip feed all of the changes in the village, how the Hokage monument's different, how maybe there's more shinobi, playing Overwatch, how the citizenry might be acting different. Unless you're using the prologue to do that, the prologue is almost just extra words at this point. Boruto's grandfather has different priorities. Yes. Yes, Boruto's grandfather has different priorities. Thank you, Andros and Jin.
Can I ban them for that?
Thank you.
So base.
Fucking tired of those jokes.
No, Jin paid me money.
Okay, I guess he gets a pass. Did Andros pay money? Or no, Andros is Jin, isn't he?
No, Jin is Jin. My brain pulled Andros out because I just saw a really stupid opinion and just immediately thought of him.
Damn.
Oh, wow. Just gonna call him out like that live
I mean,
on
he would
stream,
agree
huh?
with me, so I mean, I don't know.
Damn.
Oh, well, he has no legs to stand on then.
Yeah, no.
Should I ban Andros anyways? Just not explain it to him for a week?
Yeah, time Andros out anyways, sure.
Giga based.
You didn't say anything, but you're banned anyway. You were thinking it.
You were thinking bad thoughts.
I can hear it in my brain. I can hear you thinking.
Wrong think.
Oh, hey, Sign.
What's up, Sneaky?
So we got a response back from the guy who said, don't respond to me because I won't read it and you're wrong.
Oh, God.
His response was, got you. I was pretending to be retarded. I was actually retarded all along.
Oh,
Thank you for
course.
confirming our suspicions. Thank you.
Yeah. So anyway, we're currently covering Juicio's, Stanish's, whatever he goes by these days.
Stannis.
Man
I
who
can't be
milks
associated
small
with you
children.
people. With other names.
Tojo. We're reading their story right now. It's a pure Naruto story, in where the entire backstory is AU, and the characters are AU, and the premise is AU.
Is that why I came into the spiel about Minato?
Yes. Because Minato's not the Hokage in this one, but everything happened the exact same anyway.
Why?
Almost the exact same.
Oh, okay. Minato's like the only fucking guy who can do it. But, I mean,
Damn it, Jin.
really, at that point, Sandero should have done it himself.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I have no idea what he just said.
Me either.
Yeah. Well,
I could decode bits and pieces.
yeah, I was able to
but I think
decode a little
I
bit.
heard like a few words, and I don't know. It's like
I
trying
don't
to
know.
listen
He
to
made a
someone
pretty
talk.
salient point. I don't know.
think
I thought he did.
He was probably agreeing with Sneaky and my points
Yeah.
about how like nothing can happen the same if Minato's not the Hokage.
Yes, that.
Yeah. Jin says, Sneaky, Andros, no! Andros, what did I do? Sneaky, sorry, it's habit. You're banned anyway. True. Factual. Andros has given us too much shit in the past and has not paid enough tithe to forgive his sins. Yeah, I literally just scrolled through the story, and we just so happened to land on the part where Minato just offed himself for no reason with the Death Reaper seal.
He was so base
Wait.
for that.
No, hang on. I know I already went over it, but I'm getting upset because Obito wouldn't get anywhere near Kushina for this to occur now.
Yeah.
Not even
'Cause
close.
Presumably, Minato is still the Yellow Flash.
Yes.
Main called. One sec.
So
Yes.
I appreciate what you guys have tried to do. Um, Tojo, you did mention that you did get to like some of the important changes, like with the Night of the Ninetales attack.
Mm-hmm.
I can use a story I'm currently working on as a great example. Your first chapter should have been probably much earlier in the timeline.
Yeah.
So like where this key change would occur. Like your hook sentence could be, "Congratulations, Orochimaru, on becoming the 4th Hokage."
True.
That would be a
Yeah.
fantastic starting point, and that would catch a lot of people like, wait a second.
Ah,
Yeah.
Nice.
that's
Wait a
a
moment.
good idea. Okay.
Yeah. Like I said, with the prologue and how you've written this cold open, cold opens only work if the audience is making assumptions, and then you either use the cold open to break that assumption, like completely shatter it, like you have this like, you know, really professional looking team, and they breach a building, and they're, you know, they're getting through it, and they're getting to this target, and then right at the end they all just fucking die.
Yeah.
And then the Overwatch is like, shit, we gotta call in the other guys. And then it's like the other guys, and then it just becomes this like fat and happy, you know, like these fucking dipshits B-team story.
Yeah.
That's how you use a cold open to break expectations. Or if you want to make it a very serious story, you know, the cold open is they do this thing, no explanations given, they go in, they kill everyone, they extract this person, and they get out. And, you know, then they're on the helicopter, the guy takes off his mask, and then, you know, one of the pilots turn around and they're like, oh, wait, get ready, there's some supplies there, we got another one. And then that's how the story opens, because he's got to put his mask back on, he's got to go do something else now. Like,
Okay.
if you're using the cold open to show the tone of the story, great. If you're using the cold open to break audience expectation of what the story is going to be about or how it's going to be portrayed, great. If you use the cold open as a prologue and then just keep doing a cold chapter and then a cold finisher and then a cold next chapter, and you're kind of just like, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, Orochimaru is like the Hokage or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like kind of like, what?
That sounds like a slog.
Yeah, effectively.
To explain it, I guess, in a way that other people can make sense, cold opens are great for original fiction.
True. Oh, that's
They
also
are
that.
a
Yeah.
horrible idea in fan fiction because you as an author, you know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
The audience doesn't know what's going on unless you're doing an in media res with a cold open, which is probably not a good idea.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Those are the two very difficult.
I mean, you can definitely do a cold open with fan fiction, but specifically, you can do a cold open with fan fiction if you are changing. You can't really change the characters. You can't really change the background, but if you're changing the premise, like say you're doing a DxD story, and your opening is just Issei. He's just going to school. You know, he's going to school. He's thinking about, oh, I'm gonna do some pervy shit. Oh, today is gonna be that day where the sword practice team practices their swords. Oh, I bet that hole's still there. And then he gets into first period, and then an explosion happens, and a bunch of fallen priests just like storm the school and start holding everyone at gunpoint. And the audience goes, what the fuck? And that's how you start introducing changes. Again, that's how you use a cold open to break shit of audience expectation. Because everyone in the audience of DxD expects he's going to go to school, do pervy shit, get asked out by the fucking fallen angel, or unlock some sort of hidden power, and it's just going to go from there. But if you start off with just something that completely breaks their expectation, then it works in fanfiction. But you can't change. It doesn't allow you to change a lot, because if someone just opens up the story and it's like Issei brutally murdering some fallen priest dude, and he's like, "This is for heaven!" as he's stabbing the fallen priest, it's like, wait, huh?
That sounds like some edgy bullshit I've read before.
Yeah, I know. I'm using that as an example because I've seen it before. I didn't make that one up. That's
This
out there.
sounds familiar. There's a reason for that.
Yeah, Invincible episode 1's literally as the other guys. Yes. Yeah.
I think that's a great one.
There's a smut fic where Orochimaru becomes the Hokage and uses Naruto in a eugenics program, which justifies it being a harem smut fic.
Oh, is that the one where Naruto's trapped into a milking machine?
What? Wait, hold on.
Good
I'm
night,
sorry.
everybody.
What? Jordan Peterson.
No.
Hello, CS
You have to
Gato.
think
Is that you?
You have to think more like the lobster.
You gotta fucking pull
What?
other people down and crawl your way out.
You gotta clean your room. But do you kind of understand what we're saying here when it comes to yeah?
No, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
No, it's definitely a lot to think about. No, I appreciate you guys taking the time for this. Do you think like we've made, or at least I've made, like pretty good changes comparatively to like the last stories you guys read from me?
In order of operations of what you've done before and what you're doing now in this story, you've definitely narrowed your scope.
Mhm.
So that's always a positive. You've gotten better at not telling the audience details that are already assumed. You unfortunately, on the flip side of this, didn't tell the audience details that were assumed that were wrong. That would play key parts in why things are different. You know, because if like how to put this. If Danzo and Hiruzen start off a story acting like an old married couple, right? And they're living in this like 1-bedroom shack. And they're just sitting there. The entire first chapter, they just sit there and bitch, and they talk about shit that has no relevance to like why they're acting like an old married couple in a 1-bedroom metal shack. And then the next chapter is, oh yeah, by the way, Konoha is a radioactive crater. It's kind of like, what?
I should have heard that in the first chapter.
Probably should have been in the first chapter. Yeah. Yeah, effectively, you know, it's like, if it's a big important change that isn't a reveal, it should be in the first chapter if it's a fan fiction, obviously. Okay. If it's a big important change in the world, you're doing you're writing original fiction, and we're going to use the most generic, popular genre of its current time. You're writing a normal world, but actually there's a supernatural shadow world behind it all. Modern fantasy story. And your big reveal is actually the sun is a bomb sent by aliens to blow up other aliens. Probably shouldn't be in the first chapter. Probably should be at a narratively relevant point in the story, or just never mentioned at all, because it doesn't matter. But you know, if the reveal is you know, Hiruzen and Danzo are butt buddies now because Orochimaru has radically changed their retirement due to his completely different operating practices, showing those differences of operating practices that would cause them to act like that towards each other, probably something you should subtly slip into the first chapter.
Could I make a suggestion and get your opinion on it?
Sure.
What about instead? Because I actually liked. I think it was either you or Max who said this, but I really liked it. But focus, starting it with,
Max.
congratulations on becoming Orochi. Or not. Fuck. Sorry. Congratulations on becoming
Congratulations on becoming Orochimaru, fourth Hokage.
Alright. That's a different story.
I don't want to become Orochimaru and his skin turns white.
No, it's the curse on the Hokage position.
Yeah.
Anyone who takes the Hokage's hat becomes Orochimaru.
That was Orochimaru's parting curse.
Right. Anyways, I like that. I would like that idea a lot. Actually, that makes a lot of sense to me. And it's not super from what I remember. Minato wasn't really the Hokage for that long, relative to when the Ninetales incident happened.
It was at best a couple years.
Like
I'd say
4
probably
years.
I'd even
just
say a
over
couple
most.
months, honestly.
He was in the
know.
position for more than a few months. I want to say it was at least 2
Maybe.
to 4 years.
Maybe, but
You gotta
I would
it's,
say at least
not
the
huge.
minimum of half a year. Minimum of half a year he was Hokage.
Yeah, no, that works for me. So, and I was thinking for the first half at least, focus on Orochimaru being the point of view, and that way we get closer looks at the changes made to the villages, and
Mhm.
then they can slip in, little instead of making, because I feel like maybe the problem I had was I made Danzo and Hiruzen the focus of this beginning bit, and so
Yeah.
these little details which have not been explained yet come to light. Whereas if I did it the way I'm suggesting now, it's more like these are the changes made to the background, I guess, that are probably the most important because Orochimaru's the Hokage and probably has very different implementation of policies.
Okay, yeah,
and
that's
here's how the effects are spreading out.
That's the other thing that you just reminded me of. There's no hook. In this first section, before we get to Orochimaru being the Hokage, this first little interaction section between Danzo and Hiruzen, which I scrolled through, there is no hook in that entire first section that makes me go, oh, alright, so that's where he's going with this? Interesting. I kind of just was like, okay, I guess I'll keep reading. There was nothing here that made me want to keep reading. If you start off a story with congratulations, Orochimaru, on being the fourth Hokage, that's definitely a hook. That's an opener hook that definitely makes you keep reading at least the first chapter. And
So, do you guys suggestion would work?
I think you need to rework the story, but yeah.
You'll basically need to take this prologue and throw it out.
Yeah.
Start from that first sentence. It sounds like you guys already have at least a full history planned.
Yeah.
This would be just, instead of drip feeding or poorly exposition dumping that history at various points,
Pour the bucket in, yeah.
just give us a story I'm working on. I start way back in the timeline, and then I do a very obvious time skip every 2 to 4 years. And it's okay, this is this point in the timeline with a very subtle reference to an event that we know happened at that time, and this is how it changed slightly. This is how it changed further and further and further and further.
Yeah, because that's ultimately at the end of the day, people, as I've seen, will generally enjoy a story if you can build up to that character being just stupid strong. They're just dummy strong. They're hilariously powerful. People will be less likely to find problems with that character being that strong if they can see the character reach that strength. But if you start a story off with, oh yeah, they can just break the world in two, and now they're going to have all of these emotional issues, and aren't you interested in the drama of this character? And everyone will just be like, not really.
Unless they're particularly
well, yeah, but then the stories.
We haven't seen some really.
One Punch Man is unique in that because the One Punch Man does a lot of things that make it not a story about One Punch Man.
Oh yeah, but One Punch Man is also original fiction.
Yes,
Like,
also true.
there's
Yes.
a lot of leeway we can give One Punch Man.
Oh yeah,
for that.
absolutely. Yeah, because of that. But
But when
that's the other
someone
thing
does
is that this is, you know, original fiction gets a lot of flexibility. You know, it's the difference between pulling up to the arcade with a bag of fucking quarters and you know, $1.
Right.
You only got so much currency you can spend when you're writing a fan fiction, and you really gotta make it count, because otherwise it's just gonna look dumb. You're either gonna end up looking edgy or waffly or
What does waffly mean?
You couldn't make up your mind on it.
basically, yeah.
Parcassius. Do you know Parcassius?
No.
Okay. Purple prose.
Oh, okay. I didn't dip too far into that this time. Do you think?
No,
I
you
know that was
didn't.
a
And like I
problem
said, you did a way better job of painting
Hey, I'll take
an
it.
image without relying heavily on
Being
purple
overly
prosing.
verbose.
Yeah,
Yeah,
being overly
okay.
verbose. But on the flip side, you, again, like I said earlier, you really lost. You dropped the ball when it came to when dialogue started. And your visual description went from, you know, we're out here in Unreal Engine 4 to Oblivion NPCs interacting with each other.
Okay.
That is quite the jump there. But all right.
I haven't seen leaps like this since I watched people doing stunt jumps in GTA 5.
Real. True.
You know, some of those stunt jumps were not.
The people that I saw making stunt jumps that required literal pixel perfect jumps need to go to prison.
I mean, let's be honest. The community stunt jumps were way cooler.
I don't think I'll ever get over the time that I realized that you could actually look out your apartment window in GTA 5, and if someone was flying a helicopter by that point that the camera uses for that, yeah, you saw it. And and one day a helicopter is just flying by and a fucking car hits it, and I'm just like, what?
That was one thing that I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool that we have like a live outside view. Because then you could do shit like pull up to your buddy's window and be like, why are you not outside? I told you I would be here in 5 minutes. It's been 5 minutes.
Hey man, hold up. Pick me up in a second. Yeah, sure, man. I just comes outside. I meant downstairs.
I meant pick me up and take me to the car, baby boy.
Fucking making elite sound effects. Now I'm imagining someone just coming to fucking pick someone up.
Swah.
Hey man, listen, so I don't have my car today. I need you to go to the roof access of the apartment.
Anyway, I don't like that he used the word butt buddies and slip in the same sentence.
What are you, some kind of homophobe? You got a problem with language like that?
Yes.
I'm not afraid of them, bro. They're afraid of me.
No. I think you're afraid of them. That's definitely the case.
Nah. I also didn't say
so Sign does bring up another good point. It's definitely more than a few months because Rin is dead by then, and when Obito kills everyone, he's definitely at least a young adult, not a teenager anymore.
That's actually true.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
Like, you see later on in the series with his training shit under Madara, where he does age up.
Yeah, that's at least a handful of years there.
5 minimum.
I'm sure one of the official handbooks somewhere had ages listed.
I wouldn't trust any of those things. They've been retconned a lot.
Of course they
Never
have.
mind
Why wouldn't
being
they be?
retconned, they've done retconning. in the fucking official handbooks have retconned other official handbooks. Like,
guys, you can't do that.
That's not the point of these.
Apparently you can.
I don't know why Japan abhors canon for some reason. I don't know
The
why.
authors are probably drunk when they make it, and then they go back and go, "Oh, what the shit, man!"
Oh, no, and it's not even that. Like, canon is not a concept over there. All that matters is that
Mhm.
it's official media.
Yep.
That's why the UC timeline is such a pain in the ass. Everything is canon because it's official.
Yeah,
They
that
haven't set up
OVA
a
is
choice.
official. That fucking partnership with KFC official. You know.
That's some
Is-
bullshit.
is
It-
that
it takes-
little-
official then.
It takes
That
it takes a very specific type of author to say basically like, oh yeah, this isn't, and he has to have a lot of control over certain things.
Yeah.
Also, so it has to be one of the big ones like fucking.
Well,
That's so dumb.
It's effectively
Mayura
it's
used to be.
every
Yeah.
author in Japan is effectively like J.K. Rowling was when it came to the movies, in where if they do a partnership with a game with a company that does fucking ramen, whatever, their character shows up in a fucking cartoon advertisement, right? That author has 100% control over everything that happens in that advertisement.
Yeah, it's so bad with some of their stuff. Let me see if I can find this graphic I posted over.
I
in Small
did
Phones.
remember one time that literal key, I forget which series it was for, but it was like literal actual key lore that made a giant chunk of the lore make sense, was on an advertisement on a bus route for
Yeah,
like 3 months.
Yeah, Sneaky. Here's a graphic that someone made as a shit post. This explains the problem with how Japan handles canon.
No canon.
Pachinko,
Yep.
Pachinko
Yep.
is in fact canon, by the way.
Mainline
I've
games are
been to the-
canon,
I've
yeah.
been to their-
Main
the
spin-off
Pachinko
canon.
bars.
Super Smash Brothers is canon, yep. Okay, Final Fantasy raids are canon, yeah. Okay. Phone games
Wait a
canon.
minute. Why
yep.
do they have Final Fantasy Tactics written on there? Like,
Because there was a raid for Tactics that was released
Yep.
in FF14
Yep.
that is canon to the Tactics
Yep.
story, apparently.
how did I miss this?
These are all actual instances of how
Dancing
they
game
No,
are
listen.
canon, yeah.
Okay, listen. I knew the phone game was
Unreleased
canon. I knew
game
the
is
dancing
canon.
game.
Yes.
I didn't know about that.
God
Japan
damn
only
it,
limited
Yoko
run stage
Taro.
plays canon.
Yoko Taro is
Yeah.
literally an absolute mad lad.
Yoko
Yeah.
Taro deserves to be shot.
Yeah,
Yoko Taro's a
that
mad
stage
Yoko Taro
play-
deserves to be
That stage
fucking
play was
treasured.
released somewhere on like really crappy camera phone footage.
Yoko
So-
Taro deserves
Listen,
to be God.
it was probably Yoko Taro who did it.
The pachinko game actually refers to Madoka, where they released that shit in a fucking pachinko game.
Yeah.
That refers to Guilty Gear as well. There are
I
a
hate it.
number of games
Oh,
that like
They
we've
also
included
did that to Metal
canon
Gear.
in pachinko. No, Metal Gear was a remake.
Oh, so it's more than
Oh.
one thing, because I know.
It's even worse. All
Oh
the
my
Metal Gear
God.
Solid 3 was completely remade on the new Fox engine and then released as a pachinko machine.
Oh, fuck you.
Yep.
That-
Yeah.
Hello, I crave death.
If you've ever wondered if Konami hates your guts, the answer will always be yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so overall, you wrote good narrative, but it wasn't a good fanfic.
You know what? I'll take it. That makes sense to me.
Let's get something a little bit fresher. Let's get something a little bit
Time to get something far worse.
far worse. Yeah, Harry Potter story.
Oh, no.
Right side, Dojo.
I
you
might head
two-
out. I gotta keep doing some studying for Japanese guys. So thanks for taking
Oh.
taking the time to look over the stuff. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thanks, guys.
Not a half bad premise they'd come up with though.
Yeah, I mean, no,
Just-
it's something.
I think people get too obsessed with, this thing doesn't have a good hook, but like this is a thing that needs a good hook.
I mean,
I just think people get hung up on it sometimes. I'm not
Don't
being
get lost in the weeds on the minutia.
I see
pretty much.
I see a lot of authors, especially when it comes to fan fiction. I mean, I've been branching out. I've been reading some, self-published stuff on Royal Road and shit. I see a lot of authors when it comes to self-publish is they get caught up in explaining details of the world and they forget there's supposed to be a plot. And I see a lot of authors of fanfiction who try to do these like AU different universes who get too caught up in either character interaction and forget that they're supposed to tell details of the world and plot. Third Fang. Or you know, they get too caught up in telling the details of the world, not the details of the world, they too got caught up in writing the plot that they forget they're supposed to like have characters interact effectively.
Yeah.
Parcassius is infamous for this because he tries to give very detailed plot progression, but because he gives so much detail in his plot progression, it takes him like 6,000 words to just say, and then the character took a step forward.
No, too much.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Like, you can
One
go
day-
through several chapters and not much will really happen.
Yeah, it'll be
I've
like
got a story for y'all for
Yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
That's not great.
And a Song of Ice and Fire one that is
Um.
somewhat like this. The dude is 438,000 words in
yeah.
and still calling it his prologue.
The
What
fuck
do
you say?
mean he's still calling it the prologue?
He's got 26 chapters and he's still calling it the prologue
Okay.
of this story. Like, each chapter is prologue part this.
I
Yeah.
think he's using words that mean something that I don't think he's correct about.
They don't mean what he thinks they mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a shame.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It just like Black Flames Dancing in the Wind is another great example of this. This is also a Naruto story that really lost itself to plot progression. Sorry, it lost itself to details and character interaction and forgot that it had to have a plot. In where Naruto had all of these events happen to him and he did all this training, and then the author realized that he hadn't progressed the timeline enough, so at the end of his 300,000 word adventure, Naruto was 9 years old.
Jesus Christ.
And he was already stronger than Kage's.
Oh my god.
Which, I mean, admittedly, it was after 300,000 words, but the problem still remains is that he forgot he actually had to have time progress, because he kept making all of these time-sensitive events happen one after another, like, oh, you know, X got kidnapped. Well, if X is kidnapped, we can't just do a time skip to, like, 3 years later. You know, X has to be saved. Or
Okay,
X is
yeah.
dead.
That
You know,
that is crazy.
If you want X to be a continued character post-time skip, you can't not save X before the time skip.
Yep.
Interesting.
And so,
unless you're having that character suddenly just be rescued for some fucking reason, I guess.
yeah, but then that just loses all narrative value.
I've got to go.
Not
to dinner, guys.
necessarily.
The
See y'all
rescuers are
later.
just really big speedrunners, alright? Just fucking ran in, rescued them in 2 seconds, and ran out.
Yeah, no, in this case, with Black Flames, it does sign. Because specifically Naruto is supposed to be this outcast and no one's supposed to care about him and yada yada yada. And so the character that got kidnapped, what I'm referencing, was a character that was special to Naruto, but was just like a civilian to everyone else, like just another civilian. No one really special, no one really important. Would they look for her? Yeah, sure, but it's not like they're gonna send out, you know, an entire squadron of Jonin to recover this one civilian.
Oh, that's Ayame.
Yeah. And so, you know, it means a lot narratively for Naruto to go out and save her, right?
Yeah.
And if you just 3 years, you know, oh no, Ayame got kidnapped 3 years later. Oh yeah, Iname's back. Yeah, you know, like Naruto like rescued her or something. I don't know. And it's kind of just like, okay.
Something happened, we don't know.
Don't worry about it.
Well, you can actually pull that off, especially if it's one of those, well, it ended in tragedy kind of things.
Right. If it ends in tragedy, you can do it. But if she's supposed to be the main love interest for the rest of the story,
Oh yeah, no, that you definitely need to show your work.
right? Exactly. That's my point. Is the author kept doing those sorts of things where it's like they actually have to come to a resolution before he's able to accelerate time. And instead of pacing himself and being like, okay, so now that this event's happened, we're going to do a time skip before the next events happen, where Naruto was just training and he was actually left alone. Or, maybe something happened, but it wasn't really that important narratively, and he went out and beat some people up or whatever. It doesn't matter. Time skip, right? He didn't do that. He kept forgetting to do that because he was caught up telling this adventure of Naruto. Which, don't get me wrong, it was interesting. It was a good adventure of Naruto, but Naruto ended up being 9 years old by the end of it. And the author was like, fuck.
Well, we can't time skip now. That wouldn't make sense.
Well, no, he did time skip through the academy, as far as I remember. He was like, okay, yeah, so time skip through the academy. Yeah, Naruto fucking graduates, no shit. And then he had some, like another 200,000 words of Naruto being a Genin before the Chunin exams. And then he gets to the Chunin exams, and he's just like, how the fuck am I supposed... This is where the story died, by the way, at 500,000 words. The story dies at this point, because he's just like, how the fuck am I supposed to make the Chunin exams remotely relevant? Naruto literally can 1v the entire village due to 500,000 words of character development. How do I make the Chunin exams remotely relevant?
Well, at that point, you have to focus on character interactions and shift away from making it a power or skill situation.
The problem is he's been doing character interactions this whole time with the whole idea of him eventually, like, showing off all of these character interactions that resulted in Naruto gaining skill and power. Then when he got to that point finally, he was like, oh shit. Naruto's actually so strong that I can't have any cool fights anymore where he's actually in danger.
Because he just ruffle stomp anything he comes across.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Well, then you show him ruffle stomping shit. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Basically what I'm trying to say is he wrote himself into a hole. He lost himself in the weeds. And it's a lot. I've seen it do a lot more often. I've seen it in original fictions, actually, because fan fictions at least give you that premeditated canon guide where you can be like, all right, what happens next? Orochimaru shows up at the Chunin exams. Okay. But if you're doing an original fiction, you have to come up with something, and then you have to remember that something for the rest of your story. Because otherwise, people are going to start pointing out the flaws in your story and be like, yo, you had character A show up at this point, but then you had character A show up later and he was dead. You killed him in that other scene.
But why wouldn't you remember that?
Bro.
People are retarded, gotcha.
I was about to say, I got some bad news for you.
Because I don't have that fucking problem.
Yeah. Well, we've gotten into that discussion on your server before about why some people have some issues with the main characters of stories. Poor Sign here has everyone accusing him of being a cuck and a what was the other one?
Shit. Hang on.
Cuck and incel, I think.
I mean, by definition, if you're a cuck, you're probably not actually an incel.
I mean, if you're not getting any sex at all because you're cucking?
Yeah, true. Oh, no. A cuck or a tranny.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, people see that sign here likes using Tanya as a profile pic and assume that for some reason he's secretly transgender.
Well, this specific one mentioned writing Tanya fics, and really, I've only put out the one as far as FFN is concerned.
That's even worse. Yeah, this guy wrote one Tanya fic. He's transgender now. It's like,
I mean, the only place that knows about Outer Heaven is you guys, my server, and QQ, where I drop some hints, and that's it.
yeah. I mean, does that mean if you write like a 50 Cent real person fan fiction, do you get the Black Pass?
Don't tempt me. I will craft something more powerful than the One Ring. Most
The one
powerful
nuke.
attack known to man. The impasse.
You have to make sure to save Obama in it.
Yes.
I bestow upon you the greatest award I can imagine. The impasse. Go ahead. Say it.
Please cease.
Do you guys not remember the Madagascar Penguins Obama series?
No.
Oh.
Why is that a thing?
Oh god, I gotta post it now.
Oh god.
Yes, the Penguins of Madagascar stop racism.
They stopped what?
Here, I'll post it.
What the
The Penguins of Madagascar Stop Racism is the fanfiction series finale and last episode of the child's television show Penguins of Madagascar. It is clearly a lost episode for over 10 years, and it was never leaked until 2021.
There's a reason it's a lost episode.
What the fuck?
It is not. This is not real. It's all fan fiction, but it's.
No, I could believe that 100% somebody made this.
Skipper, Miss Obama, are you okay? Trump, she is no longer with us, Skipper, and with her death, I am finally free to say the N-word whenever I please. Martin Luther King Jr. Not if I have anything to say about it, Trump. Prepare for my civil rights beam.
What?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, this is actually a video, guys. Like, you can go watch the video. I obviously, for very obvious reasons, cannot play this on Twitch.
As it turns out, AI voices are not created to destroy everyone's lives and cause them to say things they wouldn't normally say. It's used for shit posts.
Dude, this is long before the days of AI voices.
Oh, I thought that's what that was. Oh.
Well, I
They
mean,
got real people to voice it.
kinda yes, kinda no on that. Like, we've had AI voice stuff as far back as, like, 2018 or 19. Just super rough.
Yeah, it was either using the really old stuff, or it was someone did a decent attempt at an accent in that person's voice, and then they ran it through some, audio
Filters.
bugging.
Yeah. I mean, shit. Maybe they went just full on like TF2 and just searched hundreds of hours of audio and stitched what they needed together with some slight modification or some tweaking in a audio program.
The fucking ending of that, of the whole YouTube poop. It is my gratitude. I would like to give you boys the N-word pass.
Wow.
So you guys ready for some gamer cringe? Hogwarts Legacy Extended Edition. Starting.
Oh, no. Already?
Already,
Wait.
dude.
Wait, are we sure we didn't look at? Oh, this is a new one. Never
This is a
mind.
freshly published 23 minutes ago story.
Son of a bitch. Why's it got to be that fresh?
Hogwarts Legacy Extended Edition. Starting Hogwarts as a 5th year seemed odd enough, but battling stone guardians, discovering traces of ancient magic, and befriending those who get in just as much trouble as you do makes it a year for the history books. Join Emma Cedar, our beloved MC, in the journey of Hogwarts.
I see what you did there.
You're making a lot of assumptions about how I'm going to feel about your character there, author.
Female Ravenclaw main character canon compliance with sex involved.
Okay, but why though?
Okay, is this story rated M?
Yes.
Is it rated MA?
No.
Why is it here?
Because rules mean nothing to a horny teenage girl.
I mean, if they don't get enforced, then yeah, they don't mean anything.
Scars and slashes. Harry's a cutter. Romance drama. Daphne Greengrass times Harry Potter.
Please stop.
Is that all we get?
No, Harry is cast aside by everyone, betrayed in the Triwizard Tournament. He is alone and friendless in a world that looks at him as a cheat and a liar, an attention-seeking brat, and deciding that he's actually going to do something about it this time. He will be cunning and show the world, then they will regret dismissing him.
Maybe he shouldn't be such a cheater then.
Magic on strike. The Wizarding world suffers a magic ban because Voldemort. Oh, we've already covered this one. This one's still going. Yeah, Voldemort causes magic to go on strike because he didn't obey the machine spirit rules, and so now Harry
He voided
Potter.
the warranty.
Now Harry Potter has to teach a bunch of purebloods how to run a business, such as a coffee
It's a
shop.
coffee shop.
Okay, you know
Oh
what?
my!
That's sounding a little familiar.
Yeah. The bonds that tie.
Oh no!
Oh, it's this guy again. No, we're not reading that again. It's Harry Potter becomes a vampire and Severus his daddy. Not his
No.
father, his daddy.
No. Cease.
Desist.
Do not pass go. Go directly to jail. Pay $200,000.
What in the fuck? Hogwarts Mystery Chronicles. After Rowan's death, Hogwarts student Claire Crystal decides to form the Circle of Kana with her remaining friends in order to find the Cursed Vault and confront Rakepicker with the evil cabal known as R. Will contain chapters that were previously on the Hogwarts Mystery Chronicles mobile app. What?
So
That
they
is
But
got
why?
canon to
own
the game.
as canon. Oh boy. I'm sure that won't end poorly.
1,000 word chapters, 109 chapters, updated over the course of 2 years. So, quite literally like a chapter every 3 days. No, 6 days. 6 days? No. Wow. Can you imagine awaiting a whole week for 1,000 words of a mobile game story?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, this is peak who the fuck asked. I wish both Stanish and Tojo were still here, because this is literally peak Who the Fuck Asked. Far beyond the stars, when awkward and aloof Andromeda Black stumbles into the attractive, popular Ted Tonks, she didn't realize the course of her life had changed forever. She was not expecting the sun, and he was not expecting the stars. A romance drama story featuring an AU no magic high school with Andromeda and Ted as the main characters.
I love how it's your favorite AU making its return.
Yes.
I hate it.
Yes. Ugh, God. Blug. Ugh. I'm gonna slam dunk my allergies. I'm gonna fucking set a trash fire to my allergies. I'm gonna punt the person who invented allergies into the sun.
That would be the Habsburgs. Don't worry, they're already in the sun.
Well, shut the fuck up, Jin. Cyan's not gonna commit suicide. Yet.
Do what now?
Well, you came out as trans.
Oh, God damn it.
Remus Lupin shows up at King's Cross on September 1st, 1991. This follows canon exactly, but except Remus actually shows up at September 1st, 1991. And,
Why is that important?
Harry, Remus, and Sirius all move to the USA. And Dumbledore doesn't.
$5 says they're gay.
Probably. Oh, it's important because Remus is one of his parents' friends that disappeared after his parents died, and he only gets revealed in the third book.
You know, because he cared so much about his friends that he
Yeah.
kept away from his friend's, son.
Yeah. Oh, hey! We've read this story before, and they finally changed some of the stuff on it. Still terrible, but they changed some of the stuff on it. Yeah, Undercover Auroror. Previously, the story was called Auroror Rosenree. We've read it when it was called Rosenree. Falling in love means getting hurt, and Severus knew it from their first kiss. This is just generic female OC times Snape story. Honestly, the movies were the worst thing to ever happen to the books because no one was horny for Snape until the movies came out.
Alan Rickman.
I know.
Alan Rickman's power is too great. We must remove him.
He's already been removed.
Yeah, what the fuck are you smoking, dude?
Life took care of him.
Yes, but he still exists in the minds. So we must remove it.
Remove his legacy.
Activate the AI deep voice. Excuse me, I'm having a stroke. Activate. I'm just gonna fucking stop. Just move on, please.
No, let's let you keep digging out.
Yeah, no, hold on, no, keep going.
No.
So
The
anyway,
stroke has spoken.
yeah. So anyway, as I was saying, I'm thinking maybe we should use AI deepfake technology to re-release the Harry Potter movies, but portray Snape as he was in the books, as a greasy hunchback asshole.
I mean, to be fair, Alan Rickman pulled off a greasy hunchback asshole pretty well.
Was he described as greasy and hunchback?
A little bit.
Greasy, yes. Hunchback, no.
It wasn't really described as hunchback, no. But he was extremely greasy because he never took a shower despite working over a hot, steaming cauldron all day. Filled with magical goop that splatters everywhere.
I see.
Another really horny female author who wants to write a Hermione times Draco story. Let's see what else we got here. Infinity Rise of Empire AU. Harry spends the last years hunting down the Death Eaters all over the globe when an unexpected incident at the end of his quest leads him on a journey to discover the true power of magic and turns him into the Master of Death. He realizes that a new destiny awaits for him as the Emperor of Mankind.
Okay.
So, like I said, this story does exactly what I castigated Tojo for. It changes the characters and it changes the background, and it also sort of changes the premise, but not really, because the premise is just, what if the Harry Potter books kept continuing? What would Harry do next? What would Harry do next? What would Harry do next? Except the author changed a whole bunch of shit in the background to result in Harry becoming God Emperor of Mankind. So.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I need I'm gonna need some real good hand waving from the author for that.
Yeah.
Need some foreplay there, author.
Yeah. Harry Potter and the Triwizard Tournament. A look at one of the ways Harry's rejection of Cho Chang could have gone after page 397 of the Goblet of Fire storybook. Instead of going back to the common room in Failure, he decides to ask the first woman he meets afterwards. The next woman he sees is having a row with her date, Pansy Parkinson, a literal 3 out of 10 girl. This is my best estimation of how Harry Potter could have a more mature story with him dating Pansy. Elaboration upon magic, relationships, and worldwide culture. And I'll be doing this in 1,000-word chapter installments.
Huh? How did I?
Yes?
I feel like half of that didn't make sense as you said it.
Uh-huh. Yes.
You're not the only one.
Sneaky hurt himself while reading that.
No, I didn't. I'm resistant right now.
Alcoholism doesn't make you resistant to confusion.
Is Pansy the girl who loudly said that they should hand over Harry Potter to Voldemort? Yes.
Yes.
More than a game. It was more than a game of truth and dare. So why, when Ron Weasley was dared to kick Draco Malfoy, did they wake up in Draco's bed the next morning?
I'm sorry, did you say kick or kiss?
Kiss.
You said kick the first time.
No, I said kiss.
No, you said kick.
I mean, he should be kicking Draco, not kissing Draco.
Yeah.
So it started with abuse, and then we started having sex, and it just evolved from there.
Oh, she's tsundere, gotcha.
Yes, Draco and Ron Weasley are tsundere.
Hello, yes, operator. I'd like to kill myself after hearing that.
It's horny
I
girls.
never will hear those words from you again.
You know, Sign, you acting pretty sussy tsundere.
Shut your mouth.
Stop fucking talking. For
Please
the love
breathing.
of God.
What if Draco went to Gryffindor and had sex with Harry Potter?
No!
Harry Potter, the boy who died. Voldemort has announced he will be coming to Hogwarts so he can kidnap Harry and kill him. Professor Dumbledore has a dozen wizards that will protect Harry, and Hermione tries to protect Harry while Ron has other plans.
Oh yes, it's the Ron is evil now plotline.
Yes.
How fun!
In search of lost memories, green-eyed strange boy wakes up in middle of France with little recollection of his past. He must be Napoleon. And he begins
no.
a journey which
What a
will put him
horrible
path of greatest dark lord of his age, Growler Grindelwald, no bashing any characters. Harry Potter goes back in time and becomes Gellert.
The amnesia
What a
card, really?
horrible fate to have fall such a good man to make him French. What's worse, being French or British?
French. I will never.
No, because here's the problem with
Yeah.
being British.
Yeah.
Your teeth automatically degrade like 5 steps.
Right. True.
No,
but
Look,
alternatively, you're French.
the British conquered like half the known world at one point. The French can't claim the same.
The French can't even conquer France.
I mean, this is true, but I mean, technically Napoleon whole existence.
Napoleon doesn't count. He's the one shining example.
No, hold on,
Actually, technically he's Corsican, so he doesn't count as French.
Well, yes, but Napoleon also doesn't count because Napoleon conquered those lands. France didn't do it because the second Napoleon died, those lands weren't French anymore.
Yeah, those were Napoleonic lands to begin with.
Listen, there's a reason they're called Napoleonic lands and not French
Yes.
lands.
Yeah.
The Napoleonic code, not the French code.
Yeah. You know, like
the
for
French
example,
were just lucky enough that Napoleon let them live there.
Like, for
And
example,
then there's Joan of Arc.
Greece didn't conquer the known world. Alexander conquered the world because the second Alexander fucking died, those lands shattered.
Yes. In
This is
comparison, the Romans conquered the shit out of the world.
Yes, and then the second Julius Caesar died, nothing fucking happened. It moved on to the next emperor.
Well, to be fair, the reason it didn't fucking die was because Augustus existed.
Yeah, and?
That's fair.
And Rome planned ahead. That's what.
I could also say Rome also sort of
no.
faltered
Let's be clear.
because Augustus existed, because
Caesar
Livia existed.
planned ahead.
This is
Rome
true.
Yeah,
didn't
Caesar
plan
planned ahead.
Fucking
Did
Aurelius.
Caesar
Aurelius.
plan ahead?
No, yes. Aurelius also planned ahead.
I mean, I think
Fortunately,
Aurelian did also plan
it just
ahead,
wasn't
but I don't
enough.
really think he was able to plan too much ahead.
I mean, the only head he didn't plan for was his. Oh!
I hate Praetorians, I hate Praetorians, I hate Praetorians, I hate Praetorians.
Thank you, Atin.
I'm so glad you knew exactly where we needed to go with that stupid fucking thing.
Imagine unironically being a Praetorian fan.
What?
Praetorians. The guys who killed Aurelian.
What?
What are you talking about?
What?
What?
We were doing the Muppet laugh.
I know you guys are doing the Muppet laugh.
Holy shit. Okay, you know what, Nose? Maybe you should just stop talking.
Yeah, alright.
That's...
What just happened?
Nose is the guy in the corner at the party who's just like, nobody knows I'm actually thinking about the Praetorian Guard. And everyone else is laughing at other jokes. I don't know how else to explain it. Anyway. How to be a prince.
Oh,
Sorry, what?
How
Okay.
how to be a
something upset him.
How to Be a Prince by Sharky Girl.
What?
Get ready for it. I read the author's name out loud because it's a heavy hint about what's about to happen. Severus Snape is not a prince. It is this fact which brings a witch to seek revenge to his doorstep. Now Severus is cursed with a failing heart unless he can love a woman and she loves him in return. What will happen?
I guess Severus is... Oh, excuse me. I almost choked on the bullshit. I guess Severus is dead.
What
Yes.
will happen when Lucius Malfoy decides that AU healer Hermione Granger is the perfect person for Severus's heart? AU world, AU Hermione Granger aged up times Severus.
I mean, on one hand, I'm glad for that second sentence. On the other hand, I'm not a fan of that second sentence.
I'm not a fan of any of those sentences.
Well,
I mean, at least they recognize that there's a problem and they are taking a step to fix the problem.
I don't know. I'm sort of the opinion. Now, this is a very, very personal take. I am sort of the opinion that it doesn't really matter what age you make the characters. Like, if you write a Phineas and Ferb smut story, right? But you're like, okay, guys, don't worry, I made them all 23. It's like, okay, but you still had the initial thought of these two kids having sex with each other, and you're like, oh well, it would only be hot if actually they were older. It's like you still had the initial thought though.
But Sneaky, that is literally how people happen. They get older and then they have sex, and if you're not allowed to do that because you're aging up characters and it's gross, then literally what the fuck is the point?
No, for fan fiction, I think it's weird. If you're the author and you're like, okay, yeah, well they're older now, and now I'm gonna write a romance story for them, it's like, okay, fine.
Say you read the Harry Potter story and then you start at book 7 and you age them up a few years. Okay, now they're in their 20s and they're dating and they're fucking. Is that okay?
Well, I mean, yes, because by the end of book 7, they're 18 years old. I'm talking about specifically characters that have only ever been portrayed underaged in the media.
Okay.
That's why I use Phineas and Ferb as an example. Specifically, these characters are never shown to be anything but like older than 12. And then you just come along, you're like, but what if they had sex? When they were older, of course.
Sneaky characters age.
Okay, but they.
You time skip it. Done.
Yeah, no shit, you time skip it. I still just think it's weird.
No, I want to see every day. I want to see all 6 billion days.
I want
age them up.
700 chapters of them aging up.
I want them to go through geology class and suffer like I did.
Like I said, this is a
That's
very
just you being spiteful. Why would you make anyone suffer through geology class?
like I said, this is the complete opposite of an objective take. I'm making a very subjective take. It's just my personal opinion. I find it a little bit weird whenever you have a character that gets aged up for the sole purpose of having legitimate sex with an older character that isn't aged up.
Okay, yeah, that's fair, but still kind of weird, but okay, that's fair.
Like if you're like, okay, no, this is actually just wholesale, just taking place 25 years in the future, and everyone's just 25 years older now, it's like, all right, I'm not interested in the story because it's 25 years in the future, but I'm no longer like, okay, why are you thinking about these kids having sex? Now it's just you're 25 years in the future, and I'm not interested anymore. But specifically in this situation where they age up Hermione specifically so she can have sex with Severus Snape, and it's kind of just like,
No one should be writing Snape having sex anyway. That's just gross.
That's also true. Big real facts. Another Hermione times Draco fic of literally I can fix him.tm. Hogwarts' apprentice. Hogwarts gets an apprentice, and he's under the castle's protection. He hates getting attention, and he has a secret about the Dark Lord.
Oh yeah, the darkness.
What is he? Eminence in Shadow now?
Hey, no, you leave Eminence and Shadow out of this.
Okay, but actually, that would be a decently amusing story.
Okay, you know what? I would pay Sign to write that stupid story.
Eminence
You
and
got so
Shadow's
many things to
initial
pay him for, and you
isekai.
have yet to give him a single cent.
Yeah, he.
Because I'm waiting for the tax
You see,
refund.
unlike Mr. Atin here, who says he's gonna give Sign money.
I haven't gotten my tax refund yet. Once I get my money back from the feds, this man gets paid.
Bitch, please, you're not
money
getting
back
any
from
money back
them?
from the feds.
Implying the feds want to give you money.
My last tax return was $10.
Oh, lucky
What?
you.
Are you not taking the deduction? The standard itemized deduction?
No, I am.
That's with it. I got
Yeah.
a single dollar.
Yeah.
What? Okay, you guys must be doing something wrong because
No.
I regularly get a paycheck's worth from the
Yeah,
feds.
you're supposed to put in like
Oh
20%.
no! Back in the day, I used to get a paycheck's worth. You know, back in like 2016, I got a paycheck's worth. Back in 2018, I even got a paycheck's worth on my tax return.
Same.
Like, okay, if you file single zero with the standard 20% in, you should get about a paycheck's worth, maybe even more.
I'm
Yeah.
fucking not. So
Okay, I don't know what you're doing with your taxes, but even
literally
as
the
of
same
last
thing
year,
I've done every single year. I use
I'm
H&R
saying,
Block.
I
and
don't know,
put
man.
in the same shit every
You're in a
single
higher
year.
tax bracket. You're in a higher tax bracket than you were to begin with, so no, you don't
Maybe.
get back as much.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, but I know for a fact Atin's in a higher tax bracket than me, so how is he still getting a whole paycheck's worth?
He beats the curve. There is a curve where if you make between X and Y, you may as well have taken a pay cut. If you make between Y and Z, okay, you actually get money back.
I mean, I don't know exactly what Max makes, but like, I don't think I'm sitting on a borderline.
I know I'm making probably about half a paycheck's worth, if I'm lucky.
That reminds me, I need to do mine.
The only shit I get back is from the state at this point. It's been that way for the last 2 years.
Oh, I get nothing from my state.
Oh yeah, no, I get fucking
I
nothing.
have literally never gotten a single fucking cent out of my state.
Yeah.
Like maybe the most I've ever got was like $100 out of my
I've
state.
actually been told that the reason that no one ever gets anything from the state is the state only takes what it needs instead of what the government does, where it takes half your fucking paycheck.
Louisiana gave me $200 back last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I actually got $200 back.
I guess I
but-
shouldn't say nothing. I get like 20, 30.
I mean,
from
he
the
was
Illinois
basically just like,
government.
you should think of it more as, instead of like what you get back, think about how much you saved over the year. That's what he was saying. That was just my dad said.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because it's like, he's basically saying like, yeah, sure, you're not getting a huge amount for your bonus, but think about how much you're basically not paying the state compared to the government.
Yeah, I don't mind state taxes. It's federal taxes that suck ass.
Yeah, no, I ranted about that earlier, and then he told me about that. I was like, oh, well, I feel like an idiot.
Listen, if they're going to be taking money from me, I want the itemized receipts to see that my dollars are going to where they say they're going.
Never.
I mean, that is fair. I also wish the government would send me itemized receipts for what it's using.
Okay.
I don't know what the fuck Massachusetts is using for my goddamn taxes.
You know what I can tell you
certainly
it's not using them
fucking
for? Straightening your damn roads.
Well, okay, that's a problem no amount of money can fix.
I mean, if they would use the money like they did, it would fix it.
Yes.
If
The money
Listen,
that-
I live in Illinois.
Do you
can
understand
fix garbage roads with money.
Do you understand
I know
how
this is a
fucking
foreign
bad it is?
concept to Massachusetts.
Look, Boston is unfixable. We have attempted multiple times to fix that goddamn hellhole.
No.
It doesn't
tried very
work.
hard.
Okay, no, it's because you're not putting enough money into it. You're just giving up halfway through.
Yeah.
it's also because you're not leveling it to start with.
Like, you jackasses are half-assing this.
No, you don't have to level something to fix it. We've made O'Hare a usable airport. Granted, it's taken almost the entire time I've been alive in the state of Illinois, but it's a usable airport now, and it is
Okay,
no
Yes,
longer a
I'm
drop.
not saying that you're wrong. I'm also saying that our government's pants on head retarded.
Bro,
Sorry.
bro,
Yes, all these
I
discussions are
live
maybe
in
misassumption in mine.
Illinois.
Yeah,
Yes, we had
I'm
Elizabeth
sorry,
Warren.
dude, but anything you can.
No, we had Elizabeth Warren.
Those
Ooh.
my last 3 governors went to prison and then bribed their way out.
Yes.
Hi,
that's
see,
because we
on
were
the
very
flip
insanity.
side, I, as a New Jerseyan, have never had my governors go to prison because they legalized their crimes.
Mine claimed to be a Native American.
Okay, but
Well, we're not getting into that. We're not getting into that.
Yeah, let's not get into that.
Yeah.
On the upside, Sneaky, you got your political podcast now.
No, we don't, because no one fucking showed up, despite me.
No, I mean, this is you're standing for it.
Yeah,
This is your
Look,
15 minutes.
things happened.
motherfucker. You have an excuse. Literally, no one else has an excuse. Okay, actually, Orf had an excuse. He apparently got hit with the sick bat, but like didn't tell anyone that for like 3 days. So, you know,
Yeah, I mean, you were joking
But
with
the
me.
other 2 that I specifically pinged multiple times, who were the ones to even suggest that time frame in the first place, were the ones to not show up.
Yeah, I was gonna say my excuse was I explicitly told you I would have no part of it.
Oh, yeah, I never asked you, so that doesn't matter.
You should do it anyway.
Either way, I wouldn't have shown up because I think most of the people who discuss politics with you are idiot children.
Yes, fair, true. But I mean, it was gonna be Tojo Juicio signing Orf.
Oh lord.
As I said, idiot children.
Idiot children.
Yeah, like I said, part of the
I
rule
almost-
set. Yeah, don't worry. I have created a separate channel. I've created a hidden group chat. This is going to be completely off the grid.
Oh
I
my
am
God.
like, I almost feel like morally obligated to babysit this now.
No,
I'm
Max.
scared to
Max,
It's not
don't
worth
get
it.
involved.
It's not worth it.
Oh god, we were gonna have some spicy subjects to start off the first episode with.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
Oh,
And then immediately get nuked.
that was actually gonna be the ongoing joke. Is I actually made the banner be days unbanned. And then I would keep
damn
a date count. How long it's been since we've been not banned. Oh god. What the hell is this ruby ass looking name? Oh god.
Uh-oh.
Don't keep us in suspense.
RMWB. I'm an 18-year-old Canadian. I write fan fiction. I love Ginny Weasley. She's like the best character ever, and despite what Reddit says, she's got a lot going for her.
It's literally no character development.
I want to make a movie someday. If I can, I'll make the Harry Potter movies again, but I'll fix all of the plot holes. And I'll put more Ginny in.
Okay, I think
Oh.
we need to chill a little bit there.
People crazier than you have attempted to make Hollywood dance to their whims.
That face when you were really horny on Maine. Right, Sign? You would know all about that.
That is my face, yes.
My man was so horny on Maine, he became unseeable.
Man was so horny on Maine that became his fucking nickname on the server.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, he deserves it.
Oh,
You should
mean,
see
yes,
how
it does.
horny he gets on his horny server.
Let's not talk
Listen,
about
there's
that.
a reason
Thank
I've kept that thing muted.
You're not even on it.
Wait, the server I'm on is not the horny server?
No.
No.
Yeah, it is.
He's on a worse server.
Wait, no, he's on the comp group?
Yeah, I joined.
Oh.
Yeah, he's him.
No, for a second I was afraid there was about to be like the violin horror sting as I was shown yet another layer of the depravity.
Okay,
There are many layers.
actually, because you said that, there is actually another layer. You have to get the special horny tag to get the really horny shit.
Oh, yes.
No,
Yeah.
okay, no, I knew about that tag and specifically wanted nothing to do with it.
But,
This was a smart decision.
yeah. Even in the non-horny zones, which, let me tell you, Sign, I gotta say, your entire server's interpretation of safe for work pictures has got some really, really interesting interpretations.
That's because some people don't understand what the words safe for work mean, and others. Sneaky, would you call a girl in a bikini safe for work?
Yeah?
No.
Relatively, well, it depends on the
Yeah.
design.
Generally,
what's
yes.
going on.
See, that's one of those. It could be one way or the other. And I generally lean towards if everything is covered, it's safe for work.
Well, no, I would say if everything is covered and then if there's no obvious protrusions or fluids.
Yeah, obviously, but
What I use for my definition of safe for work is if I had that picture open and my boss walked by, barring the fact that it's an anime picture, would he think it's weird? And barring the fact that I'm looking at a picture in the first place.
I was going to say,
Would my boss be
if
like,
your boss sees you
yo...
on like fucking
yo.
Discord or something, he's going to be like, what are you
Well,
doing?
yeah, yes, barring all of that, obviously, I'm talking about the contents of the picture itself. If your boss walked by and saw the picture, would they
No, I
make
would
a
say-
comment?
I
That's
would say no. It's the kind of thing where if someone walks by in the train, are they going to just start shielding their children's eyes?
Well, that's okay. So that's not
The average person, Sneaky.
No. That what I'm trying to say here, because fucking not safe for work is the thing. That's not safe for work. A woman
You
isn't
having
going
a stroke
okay,
there?
No, I'm just the English language
No?
sucks. No, this is
No.
completely different from you. Because not
No?
safe for work is already a term. So I can't say it's not safe for work because that's a term already. So but it's not safe for work.
it's not an SFW.
That's what I'm just saying.
It's easier to shorthand it like that, Sneaky. That way
But
we
it
know
doesn't
what you're talking
change
about.
the portion of the statement. What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't call that safe for work, but I also wouldn't call it as like not safe for work. Like that's just gonna make people look at you weird. But I'm specifically talking about safe for work. I have this picture open. Am I going to get called into the HR room for the contents of the picture?
Yes, the answer is yes in every case.
No?
If it depicts a female character, you're getting called into HR.
No, here we go. I'm gonna pull this picture up. This is what I consider safe for work. Will I get like a why are you looking at anime? Why are you looking at pictures at work look? Yes. Am I gonna get a alright, Sneaky, come on, we gotta talk.
Are you gonna get the and we'll be terminating your employment, Mr. Sneaky Devil?
Yeah. Like this is what I consider safe for
Yeah.
work. There
If you're
is
getting called HR for that, it better be because the HR person is a massive anime fan and
Yeah,
wants to know
exactly.
what you got. So-
Exactly, yeah. Yeah.
Hello, Mr. Sneaky. Would you like to give me some recommendations to save your job?
Effectively. By the
Or
way,
skip
Sign, this
or
is the
else.
picture I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, listen, it's the kind of thing where it's like, look, if I'm right, like, it's like, oh, I'm watching Twitch. Someone comes by and they see Monarch, right? Or Callie or Gura. They'll be like, what the fuck is this weeb shit?
Your boss let you watch Twitch at work?
Twitch is not blocked at work.
Okay,
They
here's
hate
another example. I would say a majority of these pictures are safe for work. The ones that Lori Angel just posted. I would say a majority of those are safe for work. The only one I would not call safe for work is the panty shot of
The
Tanya.
upskirt.
Yeah, the
Oh, gee, I
upskirt
can't imagine why you would
panty shot.
think anyone would have a problem with that. Sneaky.
Well, her shoes covering her panties.
But it's the implication.
Yeah, there's the
It's about the implication.
Okay, see, but everything is covered, and it teases a little, yes, but it still covers the important bits.
But
Hey,
it's
we would consider that
100% not safe for work.
a normie would consider that provocative at
It de-
best.
It depends on your workplace.
No, dude.
No,
dude.
no.
That is literally the anime equivalent of having a pinup girl in your cubicle,
I mean,
Shit,
which
man,
is
and
not
girls
allowed at
and
work.
girls might be safer at this point, depending on what era you're pulling.
That's
Yeah.
entirely
You know
true.
what? Yeah, I have a fat, black, disabled pinup girl. I'm not getting called into office. I'm actually getting promoted.
oh, sneaky.
Good night, everybody.
And now I know what to
Anyway,
send Sneaky for his birthday.
So, but
I'll
what I'm
burn
getting
it.
from this though is that signed server would be excellent for mining good art from.
Oh,
Oh,
100%. I actually save more art from the SDM than I save from Sign Server.
The issue with Sign Server is that it's like spinning the wheel on like Dan Boru or something. Like
Yeah.
like
well,
Well, to be
that's
fair, that's where a majority of their artwork's coming from.
That's where I get most of mine.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between there's Gel Boru and there's Dan Boru? What the hell's the difference between the two?
Galburu has more.
Okay,
Galburu has a lot more options when it comes to searching compared to Danburu.
gotcha.
That too.
Like you
And
can
then-
put
and
like
then
2
there's
tags
the-
at max on Danburu.
And then there's the magical website called SafeBorer, which I think pulls from both of them and just gets rid of all the explicit stuff.
Oh, wow. Magical.
That's a magical website. I wish
Yeah.
I'd known it existed.
That sounds like a complete waste of time.
Yes.
Silence you.
Anyway, so that's it, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna end it here tonight. You guys all have a good one, and make sure to show up on Friday because there's always more, and it always gets worse.